All right, Tim May, 97.1 The Fan and the Tim May Show. Listen to him. Check him out. You're a movie star. Anyways, defensive coordinator Jim Knowles is gone. Longtime NFL coach Matt Patricia is the new defensive coordinator. He helped the Patriots win 3 Super Bowls, serving as a defensive coordinator for Bill Belichick. They were very close. What do you think of this hire?
I think it's intriguing, and some people were poo-pooing it when it was basically first rumored and then announced because of his failings as a head coach at Detroit. But Detroit was had a lot of problems going on out there other than their head coach. But the bottom line is he's proven himself as a quite capable defensive coordinator and assistant coach for more, one another term. I mean, heck, Bill Belichick brought him back and he ended up calling offensive plays for them. I think Bill Belichick's last year at New England. So the bottom line is I think it's a tremendous hire because it adds to the think tank. And we talked about this on this show several weeks ago about the fact that you've got Tim Walton sitting there who's been a defensive coordinator in the NFL, and Matt Guerrieri, and of course James Laurinaitis and Larry Johnson. So you've got quite the brain trust there in the defensive room.
He has primarily been an NFL coach, was, as you mentioned, head coach of the Lions. What do you think the draw was for him? Because he's been an NFL guy. Why come to college? And what do you think intrigued him about Ohio State?
Number one, it's the defending national champion. Number two, it's loaded talent-wise. It will be again this year, although they've got replacing 8 starters on the defensive side of the ball. It's still loaded from a talent situation. Number three, he needed a job. He was shopping for a coordinator's job or some kind of job in the National Football League all through the month of January. And I even watched an interview with him on the NFL Network. But the bottom line is he brings a lot to the table in terms of experience, in terms of attraction from the standpoint of if you're a defensive player out there, the Ohio State's recruiting, you have a chance to play for a guy who was just recently a defensive coordinator in the National Football League. That's intriguing, I think, from a recruiting standpoint.
He's 50 years old. What kind of change? I mean, Ryan Day, even when he hired Jim Knowles, he said, this is Ohio State's defense. This is not Jim Knowles' defense.
Correct.
Does Ohio State's defense change with this guy? Does he put in whole changes, or does he just kind of fine-tune what's there now?
Now, you got to say this. When Ryan Day hired Jim Knowles, now at Penn State, when he hired him, he wanted some changes made.
Right.
He wanted a more aggressive look, a little more unpredictable look. And as it went along over 3 years, it transformed into the best defense in the country. With Matt Patricia's one of his great hallmarks is the ability to adapt the defense to the offense you're playing, meaning attack what they do best, take it away, et cetera. And, you've got to be able to do that in the National Football League, which shows a lot of flexibility. And I think he's got like I said earlier, a very talented staff. I mean, there was some conjecture going around that Ryan Day was having some kind of face-to-face meeting with Larry Johnson to you either get on board or get off. I mean, that's totally erroneous. I mean, whenever you bring in a new guy to the staff, you want to make sure everybody is on board. They don't make that decision, but I think this is a staff that could work extremely well together.
You and I know Ryan Day very well. He has said to me in the past he wants to be involved with the offense.
Yeah.
Hiring this guy, a 50-year-old guy that's been around the NFL, he's been a coordinator, won 3 Super Bowls. He's going to have a young quarterback this year, Ryan Day, and he's going to want to spend time with them.
Yes.
Is the hope, do you think, and I don't know if he'll say this or not, but hiring this guy, hopefully he doesn't have to worry about the defense and he can focus on the offense.
Right, but we all saw when
no, I know that.
We all saw when Ryan Day stepped in and asserted himself after the game at Oregon last year on certain things he wanted to see in the defense. And he got that out of Jim Knowles, and they went on to be the best defense in the country the last half of the season. Yeah, there's a certain confidence you have in a guy that the job, the work is going to get done. But, I think Ryan Day has transformed into quite the head coach over the last couple of seasons.
I agree.
And he will definitely have his eye on it. I mean, Billy Fessler, the new quarterbacks coach, he basically worked with Will Howard all year last year and stuff. So he has confidence on that side of the ball also.
Let me ask you this. Tim Walton will be the co-defensive coordinator. Matt Guerrieri will be the passing game coordinator.
Yeah.
How will that play out? What will they do?
I once asked one time when you had an associate head coach, an assistant head coach, and a head coach, hey, who takes over if this guy gets sick,
Yeah.
you know? And it was like kind of muddy water was the answer I got. They will all be involved. And, you know, a lot of times these titles, too, are justification for giving a guy a pretty good raise. So that's part of the deal, too. But Ryan Day demands in his staffs that everybody be involved from an idea standpoint.
Right.
You know, bring something to the table every meeting. I'm not. I've never heard him say that, but I know that's what he wants.
Last thing, you mentioned it earlier, Larry Johnson, and I think Ryan's got a heck of a defensive staff. I think James Laurinaitis was amazing, but Larry Johnson, he was under the crosshairs of some and whatever. He's not going anywhere, is he?
No, I mean, he's older than me, Dom. But the bottom line is,
I go back to what Ryan Day said at the national championship celebration. He gave great praise to Larry Johnson.
Of course he did.
Said he was the best defensive line coach in the country.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was, people were trying to get him fired all first half of the year last year and stuff. Obviously, the defensive front became dominant in the playoffs. Dominant, Dom. And now they're going to have 4 new starters up front this year, which is going to be an interesting thing to watch or develop as the spring goes and then preseason goes. But the bottom line is Larry Johnson has coached some of the best, and he is basically the GOAT or one of the best in the nation at his job. I mean, I don't think there's any argument about it.
The one and only Tim May. Check him out, 97.1 The Fan and the Tim May Show.